Before we can print, we have to check if the bed's level. If you haven't touched your printer, then most likely the bed's already level, provided you've leveled it before. Otherwise, you have to go through a process to make sure the nozzle is the right height above the print bed in all parts of the bed. Otherwise, it could be printing too high or too low. So it might scratch the surface like that, or it might print in the air, causing your print to fail. The first step we're going to do is go to prepare, and then we're going to scroll to preheat PLA. And what that will do is heat up the hot end as well as the bed. Once at operating temperature, we're just going to make sure any excess from the nozzle is clear using pliers or snips. Then we're going to go to the main menu and then go to prepare and go auto home, this is going to bring the printer to the far corner as close to the bed as possible. And then we'll use that as a reference for leveling. So as it presses that little switch there, it stops. So usually we just want a small amount of space between that nozzle and the build plate. So to move, we're going to go to disable stepper, and that allows us to move the bed free. Whereas if we were again auto homed, by default we're not able to move it. So disable steppers. Now when I pull the bed out, we can see there is just a slight amount of space between this build plate and the nozzle. So I'm going to start in that corner there. Then I'm going to move the nozzle this way. If it starts scraping, the way we adjust these up and down is by using these knobs. So you can see by turning that way it goes up, and by turning the other way it goes down. So we'll go this way. You can see there's a decent amount of space there. Probably about a mil, if not a little bit less. So if we wanted to reduce that space, we'll scroll it to down. So increase that space. If we want to reduce the space, we'll scroll this way to build the print pad up. But we were pretty good where we were before. Keep in mind when I move it, it gives a bit of an accurate representation because the filament blocks it. So I'm going to go back. You can see right now it's actually touching the print bed, so this needs to go down a bit. So I'll scroll that down. Now we've got a small amount of space. I'll go to this corner. We're up a bit high, so I'll higher it up to the nozzle. Then once you're in the last corner here, you're going to go back to our home and hit auto home. Now we're back at home, we hit disable steppers again, and then we're going to pull back. That's looking good. That is also looking good. That looks good. And that looks good as well. So this now I would say is ready to print, and we'll do any final touches while the print is starting. You might have to do that again and again. Until you get it perfect, just because if it's significantly off, once you start changing stuff, you have to refine it every time you go around. So for now, we're going to grab the SD card from here, and we're going to go to the computer. I've already preheated this printer to 200, or the PLA defaults, just so it's ready. When I am ready to print, we're going to go print and scroll to the file. When we click on this, it's going to, in this case, cool down a little bit because the temperatures differs. And then the printer will do a test line along the side of the print bed here, and then an outline of what the area around the print will look like. The test line usually gets the nozzle unclogged and ready to go, and then the outline is going to give you a good idea of how level the bed is. So there, our printer has just done an outline here. So I would then just quickly check to make sure it doesn't just instantly peel off. If it does, maybe the print head was too high. If it's scratched the bottom, it's too low. Here we have an initial outline here. So I'm going to quickly touch that. It doesn't seem to be coming off the bed. For example, if I lower this side, then potentially you'll see it printing in the air there. See how there's space underneath it? So if I want to get rid of that, I'll come back and raise the print head up while it's printing, or usually while it's doing that outline circle. And that way when it goes round, it's actually printing on the bed now. So I'm going to stop this. And we'll go again. So every time I let it do a little outline, if it's not perfect, I will adjust it, stop it, and go back to print, start again. So once again, it's going to do our little practice line here. And once it's done that, it's going to move to the center of the bed and do an outline of the print. So that looks like it's sticking to the bed well. It's not too low and it's not too high. We can confirm that by rubbing it. So given that this is stuck on the initial outline, I'd say this print's going to work out alright. If it wasn't sticking, it was coming off, you might need to adjust up or down, or maybe even clean the print bed with some isopropyl alcohol. Do not use acetone, as it will eat away the print bed.